Do you want to know how to get an ISBN number for a self-published book? Then make sure you stick around and watch this video. This is Self-Publishing with Dale, where you'll learn to publish books that sell and build an unstoppable brand. If you've self-published a book, what do you prefer to have? Do you like to have the free assigned ISBN, or do you prefer to purchase your own ISBNs to put onto your self-published book? Definitely love to hear from you, so just drop your thoughts in the comments. Also, you're going to want to make sure that you stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to give recommendations based on your situation on whether you should or should not purchase your own ISBNs, because not everyone should take advantage of the free assigned ones and not everyone should be taking advantage of the purchased ISBN. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. What is an ISBN? It is an international standard book number, a representation of what your book is, and it literally is a way of just identifying what your book is compared to the other ones that are on the marketplace. It tracks everything about your book's metadata, including the title, the subtitle, the series name, the author name, sometimes the trim size, the type of book it might be. It could be electronic, it could be print book, be it hardcover or paperback, and it can even be an audiobook of some sort. So ISBNs actually work on all types of publications, so it identifies what your book is overall. Free versus purchased. Now there's pros and cons to having free assigned ISBNs and buying your own. However, you're going to want to make sure that you're very selective based on your specific goals when it comes to publishing your books. Most online publishing platforms provide a free assigned ISBN, but there is a little bit of an asterisk next to it. When using a free assigned ISBN through a publishing platform, you're essentially allowing them to own the imprint of your book. So back in the day when you were taking free assigned ISBNs from CreateSpace, you used to say CreateSpace Independent Publishing Company. If you were taking one from, say, Amazon, it'll say independently published, but overall it's still run by Amazon and owned by Amazon. However, if you're purchasing your own ISBN through sites like Bowker, or if you're outside the United States, you're able to pick it up from various other agencies, then you can own the imprint. This means that it says that you're the publisher, rather than on the free assigned ones, it says the other ones are the publisher. Now, this may make a difference to you, it may not make a difference to you. Either way you shake it, you just got to kind of take a step back and think about what are your goals in self-publishing your own books. Do you just want to get more exposure to your brand? Then, free assigned ISBNs might be the way to go. If you're just wanting to get a little extra cash, if you want to make this a hobby, for the most part, free assigned ISBNs are great, but they do have their limitations. But before I get the cart put in front of the horse, let's dial it back for just a second. What we're going to need to find out is, where do we get these ISBNs, first of all? If you're getting the free assigned ones, you obviously just go through the publishing platform. If you're going to be getting your own ISBNs, this is going to vary based on the region that you're in. In the United States, there is a monopoly over ISBNs. It's a company called Bowker. That's spelled Bowker, and you can actually access them, I believe, through Bowker.com or some sort. I'll put it inside the video here. And it can be as expensive as $125 for a single ISBN to as little as $1.50 if you order a bulk of 1,000 ISBNs at a time. That's probably recommended for somebody that's a bit more than just a hobbyist. So you see why I say purchasing your own ISBNs may or may not be your option. I know a good friend of the channel, Mojo, typically will purchase about 100 at a time because she has quite a few different iterations of her publications. Remember, ISBNs are applicable to electronic, print, and audiobook. Be careful if you're in the United States purchasing your ISBNs from third-party companies away from Bowker. There are some companies that will sell you at a discount an ISBN, but the issue is they still own the imprint. So make sure that you read the fine print. Make sure that when you purchase an ISBN from a particular company, that first of all, they've got a reputation and a past history that looks good. You can always check it out over on the Better Business Bureau of some sort, or even referrals. Figure out if there's other self-publishers who have purchased from these third-party companies. And also ask them, hey, do I get this lock, stock, and barrel? Do I get to have my publishing company on the imprint, or is it going to be your name on the imprint? And if for some reason they say their name's on the imprint, then you might as well just go back to the free assigned ISBNs, because then it doesn't cost you a thing. Now, good news for you folks outside of the US. For instance, up in Canada, you can actually get your ISBNs for free. Yeah, I just went ahead and I did the bunny ears free, because you can get it free, you have to actually apply for it. So if you've got a book, you get a hold of those that are responsible for the ISBN agency and registration and such, and you tell them you've got a book. You have to send it to them though. That way they verify, okay, this is the book, this is what the ISBN is going to go for, okay, you've got it. So if your book is, expensive, or for that matter, any cost of money, think about that, how much it might cost. So your book could probably cost, say for instance, $5 wholesale. Then you have to ship it to them in order for them to get it. So you might end up spending just a bit more than, say, we do here in stateside if we were to buy it in bulk, say $1.50 a piece. I used to sit there and go, oh man, must be nice to be up in Canada. But really, at this point, I'm not gonna balk, no pun intended, on having to purchase larger bulks of ISBNs for my books. So who should get an ISBN for their self-published book? If you're a hobbyist, then chances are likely just stick with the free assigned ISBN. In the event you want to get your own later on down the line, it's just as simple as this. You can delist the first edition of your book. Okay, just take it off the market, and then you're going to launch a second edition with the new ISBN that's attached to it. Fair warning, if you do this through Kindle Direct Publishing without making any significant changes, you may want to alert them ahead of time, hey, I'm going to delist my book. I'm going to go ahead and republish it underneath a new ISBN. There's not going to be any notable changes other than the ISBN. Just fair warning, you may want to do that ahead of time. Also, if you're thinking about doing a massive volume of no content and low content books, then chances are likely the free assigned ISBNs are going to be more than sufficient. It does take down a lot of that risk versus reward factor, and that way you're not ponying up a bunch of expenses into ISBNs that may profit or may not profit. Who shouldn't get an ISBN for a self-published book? If you don't have the discretionary expenses, then don't get your own ISBNs. If you don't know what you're doing so far in publishing your own books or the platforms you need to utilize, that should be the last thing you should worry about. In fact, if you haven't even written your first draft, you haven't even published your first book at all, don't worry about ISBNs. I tell people, just get that first book written and consider publishing it. And again, you can always just double back around later on, delist that first book, relist it underneath your own ISBN if you decide that this whole game of self-publishing books is for you. But before you dismiss any of the print-on-demand distribution platforms and their free assigned ISBNs, there was actually an interview with Chelsea Bennett of Lulu.com where she shared how you can change the imprint of the book through Lulu on their platform. So you're going to make sure that you go over to that interview and take a look at it. I'll see you there.
So you can take one of our free ISBNs and just change the imprint name to your imprint. And the only reason it would default to Lulu as the publisher is if you don't fill that information out. So